coming back to how in the heck did all this happen, this whole case and just everything going on in my situation, was one of the answers to that question is back in 2014, especially, a little bit of 13, all of 14 extremely heavy, and the first half of 2015. This was just a few years after I had what I consider to be my greatest spiritual awakening, which, in the East is called Kundalini awakening. Ancient Christians taught it as that's how you were actually saved by Jesus Christ. It's all talking about transmuting sexual energy to the pineal gland, which I did on accident. Wasn't trying to do any of that stuff. But anyway, I had that experience, and in 2014, 2015, especially, but half of 15, I was meditating every day, like sometimes 6-8 hours a day. I just got to the point where it was the feel. I would sit in a chair, just sit, and I would try to keep my back as straight as possible, and I would just sit normal with like my hands maybe like this, or like this, or sometimes on my knees, just however I was comfortable, and I would just get to this place that was so peaceful that I just became addicted to it. And from that place, I got into out-of-body experience or astral projection and remote viewing. And in 2000, and I was playing around with it back then, and I was like, all about, because all that stuff is essentially conscious dreaming. It's being able to go into the dream world consciously, which is the spiritual world, which is the world of imagination, which is where everything in this world is born from. So, there's no difference between your imagination and the spiritual world, that they are one and the same. So everything that is in this world was at first an idea born in someone's imagination, or some things, or God's imagination, if you want to take it all the way back. But so I was 2019, and I was living a few miles away from my father's house, and I remote viewed here one night. And I remember I'm not going to explain the whole experience, but I came and I saw him, and I saw where he was sleeping. I saw what he was wearing, and I just witnessed the whole picture, and that was it. And then I was, got a kick out of it or whatever, and that experience ended. But the next day I came to his house. I drove over here, and I was so excited. I was like, this is what happened. I was like, dude, I was calling him dude and everything, because I was so excited. And I was explaining to him where he slept on the couch, what he was wearing, the whole nine, and it freaked him the fuck out. Back then I was wondering, like why don't it didn't register then, but I do have, especially with experiences that are very close to my heart, or something, if I'm very passionate about something, I have a razor sharp photographic memory. Like, I still remember the look on my dad's face from 2019 when I told him that, because I was so passionate in that moment about that experience. That's why it's so important to follow your passion. If you're following what you're passionate about, instead of living out of fear, like somebody like my father does, everything is a fear-based thing to hold on to control for some illusion, that he makes up and tells himself. That's why he, whatever. My father's fucked. That's just a matter of time. But, so anyway, yeah, for a person with secrets, that's a scary place to be. When you start delving, because I would be open and honest about my experiences, not realizing that, I was damn near, basically I was going to say sleeping with the enemy. We weren't never sleeping together, but it was my father. I was, at that time, when I got into the meditation back in 15 and 14, I had about $500,000 liquid at that time, and I still chose to come move back in here because I felt like it was the best place for the kids, and retrospectively, obviously, I was fucking fucked with heavily, and that's why my father can't face me, and that's why we're at where we're at, and that's why he's going to die a very lonely death if he doesn't find his way to prison first, because karma is real. You get what you give, and the truth will always prevail, and my father's full of fucking shit. And I think everybody should be starting to see that. But, and that said, just because I inherited a half-retarded narcissist as a father doesn't mean that FBI is retarded too. You know what I mean? Like, eventually I've been reporting this shit, not in regards to my father, but reporting heavy criminal activity that, with RICO crimes and conspiracy against rights and fraud all ran through the courthouse, and FBI hasn't done shit in 2 years. But it's like 2 years of me reporting it. But it's like, now that I've rewound this all the way back to very close to, I know my ex-wife is involved too now. I don't know who outranks who like who's the bigger dumb fuck between my ex-wife or my father, but they're both up there. And either way, they're both fucked because they violated every federal offense in the world. So it's like you can only run from that for so long because not everybody's retarded. You know what I mean? And I know there's FBI agents out there as smart as me, some of them smarter than me, and investigators that are way smarter than me when it comes to the law. Most of them are, in fact. So therefore, and these mother effers have been breaking the law for way too long. And I've done some private investigating on my own, and I've come across some information, but I don't feel that it's not my job to disclose that at this point. That's the job of the federal officials, that have these positions that, now that I've narrowed down the focus, ex-wife, dad, get them, boys. That's all I have to say. Later.